Hello and welcome to the track roundup of the singles that were released within the last week. First up we have the why category. The why did you do this? Why was this what you decided to do? Just why? I Still Love You by Naul hit you with a Daft Punk style intro, then proceeds to become the most generic R&B ballad ever. Then halfway remembers that it's trying to be something different, switches back, and then returns to being a generic ballad. Also, considering the length of this track, I wish the lyrics weren't as repetitive. The vocals are decent and work effectively, but if you're gonna make a 5-minute song, at least try to keep me from falling asleep. Like, how does your 5-minute song only have one verse? Like, come on, really? 4 out of 10. Up next, we got Winter Taste, which is what I can only describe as a late Christmas song, but overall pretty pleasant to listen to. With an okay instrumental, the vocals were actually decent considering their smaller size, and the difference in their verse style makes for a decent amount of variation throughout the song. Just missed the mark by like 2 months. 6 out of 10. Next up, we got probably the weirdest track on this list. Shower. Korea has been known for having songs for the most random things and managing to make them hits, and here it again works. The production was clearly deliberate and with intention, managing to tie into the theme of the song perfectly, with good vocals and a catchy chorus. I'm gonna rate this a send this to one of your friends who needs a shower out of 10. These next ones weren't for me, but they might be for you. Starting us off is Because of You, a quite somber but generic ballad, featuring pleasant vocals and an equally decent backing instrumental, finding its height during the chorus. 7 out of 10. Have you ever watched one of those films where someone fails to catch someone as they're about to fall off a bridge, and it goes to slow motion, slowly cutting from person to person, eventually ending on the person who's falling, closing their eyes and then cutting to black? Well, that's basically what A-Wave is from Dan. 8 out of 10. Last Love by Sing Yi-young features incredible vocals, which is good because in an attempt to avoid detracting from the vocals, the instrumental was quite lacking, only really reaching heights during the choruses. 8 out of 10. If there was an award for the most unique voice on this list, it would be here. With a deep and rich presence, Diary of a Broken Heart features an 80s retro-style ballad aesthetic. Once again, this sounds like what you would play at the end of a film based on real events, showing what happened to the people after filming, with the final slide being an RIP on someone who died after production. Speaking of, the production is really great here overall, 9 out of 10. Now onto stuff that's a bit more my style. Bloom is the debut single from the six-step group Cherish, and unfortunately fails to separate themselves from most of their contemporaries, with very outdated production, 5 out of 10. Mellow Movie is a cutesy pop song about love, unfortunately featuring a quite repetitive instrumental. Levan's vocals can only do so much to add to the diversity of the release, so I hope in future projects the instrumentals can take a higher priority. 7 out of 10. Probably the only song on this list that everyone will have heard of. Vibe from Taeyang featuring Jimin is a decent track, although Jimin honestly deserved a few more lines, as his one verse and chorus contributions were quite forgettable, and honestly felt unneeded. 7 out of 10. Good Vibes is probably the most generic song on this list, but that's not to say that it isn't achieved well. It's honestly hard not to find yourself at least bobbing your head slightly. While the vocals from Chad are a little meh, Kyung Dasom manages to hold her own throughout the track, certainly increasing its enjoyment factor. Moonlight is another generic song focusing on its mainstream appeal, featuring a pretty basic instrumental. Henry's vocals, however, are pretty great. 7 out of 10. Burnout by Frida-Anne feels like a summer tune, yet features some pretty dark and dreary lyrics. The instrumentals and vocals are great here, and manage to convey the meaning of the song in a happy and pleasant tone. 7 out of 10. Youniverse is a single release in anticipation for Yunsae's later EP, featuring pleasant vocals you'd come to expect from most popular girl group lead vocalists, and an instrumental diverse enough not to leave you bored, with quirky samples throughout that make your ears occasionally perk up. 8 out of 10. Long Night by Guntac features a funky but repetitive instrumental, managing to find itself in no man's land when it comes to production. Focusing all your effort on a riff that works well is great, but not when it's the entire song. The occasionally added layers of instruments do help though. Guntac's vocals manage to be pleasantly unique, certainly standing out from contemporaries in his genre. 8 out of 10. Falling Apart by Park Jiwoo contains great vocals and an instrumental that progresses equally effectively. Overall, a great listen. 8 out of 10. One features great production, vocals, and a large sample in vocal color, allowing for great diversity within the song. If you ever wondered what the idols skipped over by companies because they didn't fit what traditional visuals could produce, it'd be this. 8 out of 10. Parannoul is possibly Korea's leading modern shoegaze and dream pop producer, and We Shine at Night showcases that this isn't going to change anytime soon. Featuring incredibly diverse instrumentals, Parannoul's signature unique vocal style, as well as vocal samples sent in from fans. 9 out of 10. As a longtime Dreamcatcher fan, I can very much enjoy Reason. If you like anything from their early discography, you'll likely find yourself in the same boat. Their typical great vocals and diverse, rich instrumental style blend rap, rock, and pop together. The chanting in the latter half of the song seems like a great fit for a live performance. However, it doesn't serve to further their discography. 7 out of 10. Now for some stuff that I think you should give a chance on, and that I'll be looking forward to in the future. If you've been looking for some K-metal, we have Rockitgirl Resistance. Although lacking in vocal and instrumental depth in places, if within time Rockitgirl can find confidence in their craft, I can certainly see them being a Korean competitor to their kawaii metal contemporaries Baby Metal within the coming years. 7 out of 10. M.O.N.S.T.E.R by Steve falls into the category of hard rock, filled with a dense amount of electro-style rock sections and a gripping vocal performance. 7 out of 10. Another music video with a bathroom. What's going on in Korea this week? I Wanna Know You All by RAWON featuring Jason PURP is a catchy and really fun song, featuring pop and rap sections. 8 out of 10. Fantamony Let's Try New Music is their first delve into non-acapella style music content, of which they found their current audience. Being super funky, it's honestly hard not to enjoy this. Vocals are overproduced at points, but don't detract from the song. There are a few questionable lyrics, but overall a very decent release. 8 out of 10. Huiii Wash Away is honestly probably my favourite unheard artist release this week, with incredible vocals and a rich backing instrumental, diverse enough to enhance but not take away from the rest of the track. 9 out of 10. If you've listened to any of these tracks throughout the week, let me know in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.